Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we finished up the 2026 NHL entry draft, and you know what? It went pretty good. It's been a pretty damn good 2 seasons. We're partying. We're on the highest of highs during our Stanley Cup championship parade. We're parading through the streets of St. Paul, Minnesota, every city in Minnesota. We're just enjoying it. And it's finally nice with all this talent that we've brought to Minnesota for it to finally pay off just a bit. 2 Stanley Cups in a row, 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. We are looking to be a modern-day dynasty, especially if we can keep this team intact. Now, last episode, we traded away 2 major pieces, and we're going to get into that. We're not going to start the next season simulation. It's more of a talking episode, getting a few potential deals done, just working out the kinks in this roster, because the cap is going to be a problem. It's a problem right now. It's not going to be a problem. It is a problem today and onwards. All these young guys are finally asking for NHL money. I'm just happy we got Pietrangelo, Francis, Langweeder, Brant Clark, Marcus Mironov on really, really solid contracts. Very team-friendly. Even though a few of those guys, Francis is making $10 million, but that's very team-friendly considering he's won the Art Ross 4 straight seasons. It's time to make a few moves. I know we've won 2 Stanley Cups in a row. We lost Matt Dumba, and we also lost Nils Hoglander. We didn't lose them for nothing, though. We traded Nils Hoglander for Nashville's first-round pick next year, straight up. Nils Hoglander for the first. Nashville was the worst team in the NHL this past season. I'm hoping for Magic Beans. But Nils, I've talked about him in depth in previous episodes. Almost the entire postseason I jabbed at him. Some players just don't work out. He was good for us for a long time, but we're so talented now that we don't have any more room on our roster. Matthew Dumba needed to go just for cap's sake. Losing Nils and Dumba, we might have enough to get everybody back. Maybe. Personally, the last thing I want to do is lose Luke Kunin. Luke Kunin is that next piece to go due to cap. Frig, I love Luke Kunin and what he brings to this team. He's been a piece. He was one of our bigger pieces when we started this franchise mode. He was like our 3rd best prospect in general when we started. Him, Kaprizov, Matthew Boldy, and Matthew Boldy's been gone for a while, but Luke Kunin has been awesome on that 3rd line, shutting down the other team's big guys. I know it was an iffy postseason, even though we won the cup. I know that's debatable, but he's the last guy I want to lose. I had my list to go into the draft at guys I needed to move due to cap, and I'm not moving Pietrangelo, I'm not moving Francis or Kaprizov or Newmanin or Griffin or Clark or Hughes or M&M. That's not an option. That is just a fact. Why would we do that? And I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't recorded NHL in about a week. I did pre-record a lot of episodes just so I could give myself a little bit of a break. You'll notice me doing that more just because I feel like it. I know if I'm not responding to you, I'm sorry about that. Life gets busy sometimes, but it's going to be a stupid episode. If you want to skip this episode, skip it, but we're going to get a few things done in just a moment. I just want to take a second to thank everybody who is watching this right now or has watched my videos, has likes or maybe told friends about this franchise mode or just my channel in general. I think the world of my fans, quotation mark. If it's crazy to even think that this is kind of a dream for me. I know I just hit 340 subscribers. Like, I'm a small YouTube channel, but it still means the absolute world to me that people keep coming back every day, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to watch this channel. And I think the world of you guys. I appreciate the hell out of everybody who watches and subscribes. Were the goal. I said on January 1st this past year on my Twitter, if you don't follow me already, go to my... It's in the description. It's always in the description. I have 2 Twitter accounts. My main one and my just strictly YouTube channel one, where I just post links to YouTube videos, announcements, or whatever like that. I said on January 1st that I wanted to hit 400 before December 31st, 2020, or January 1st, 2021. We're going to be there pretty soon. Just hit 340. We've been floating around there, but all of your guys' support don't go unnoticed. And I'm sure you want to jump into this franchise mode, so why the hell not? So let's go into it. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to have to pull out all the stops this episode to make sure I keep the majority of this team together. Obviously, you have your big pieces. But speaking of the future, I want to talk about our draft prospects that we just picked up. Let's go to the unsigned. Our biggest acquisition of the draft is Sergei Guglev. God, I continue to pronounce this man's name wrong. I'm so sorry. His current nickname is Gogo. Or Gogo. Or Gugu. Gogo? Gogo sounds way cooler. Gogolev. Gogolev. That is his name. I'm so sorry. He's a right winger. He's 17 years of age. Out of Russia. He's 6'1". He's a power forward. Another power forward on this roster. But we're going to need that just especially the pieces that we're losing. I think this year he could potentially fit really, really well on our third line, especially due to cap restrictions. I'm going to offer him his NHL entry-level deal. Whatever the min is for that won't even count against our cap. That is huge for us. I really, really like him. He kind of fell in. That pick kind of fell to us. We made a trade. We made a bunch of trades. It just worked out. We picked him. Originally, we were going to go for the defenseman in the draft, but Gogo just fell to that spot. We weren't going to just pick a defenseman that we knew that was a high top or a medium top 4 or top 6 centerman or something like that. I wanted that medium elite. Doesn't matter what position he played. That potential, the trade value just makes everybody else expendable if he's good. And I think he's going to be good. Another good player, I believe we drafted him, last year, Lionel Waters. We're going to offer him his NHL entry-level deal. Cutler, we also drafted him last season. I really like him. He's almost a 70 overall, under 20 years of age. I'm going to offer him a contract as well. There's a few other players here which I'm iffy about giving contracts to, like Franzen or Arkhipov. He's 19. I think it wouldn't hurt him to just play in Russia for another year, or where was he playing actually? Yeah, he's playing in Russia. I think it'd be beneficiary. That was a rough word to say. I think it would be good for him just to stay another year, even though he'll be 20 come next offseason. He could potentially be a good player for us in the future, but I'm always unsure about top 4 medium defensemen's. Wow, I'm terrible at English. I haven't recorded in a very long time, so I'm trying to pick up the pace, everybody. So those are the 3 guys that I'm going to offer contracts to. In the forward section, no defensemen are getting contracts, but we have a really, really nice prospect pool. It's not like we're winning cups like all these other teams like Chicago or Pittsburgh's, why did I even say them, or LA or Detroit, who won their cups. Their prospect pool kind of got depleted at one point, and there was nothing they could do about it. They just kind of fell off. I mean, even though Chicago's is looking really, really nice as it is right now with DeBrincat, with Kirby Dach, with Adam Boqvist, they're looking nice. I'm sure they'll be fine, but we want to be like Pittsburgh, which they lose guys in free agency, they lose them to trades, they lose them to injury. They have their top guys, but they just pull prospects out of their behind. And I want to follow that same path of dominance, okay? Coming off of a cup, we have to make the right moves. But every draft, we go out, we pick up a damn good goalie. No, we didn't pick up Cody Tallender this year. We picked up another high elite goaltender. That is our third straight draft with a high elite goaltender. His name is Brad Cizik out of the QMJHL, if I'm not... Oh, no. Yeah, I'm right. Whoops. QMJHL. If I see a high elite, I get it. Even though I think the last two ones in Tallender and Cizik, I didn't know if they were going to be high elites or not. I just threw a Hail Mary at them, and they turned out to be friggin' fantastic. So I think I'm going to leave him off contract this year because we have Pettersson, we have Tallender, we have Rensfeldt, we have Mackey, we have Ulanov, we have Vesinoyov. We have so many awesome guys that are ready to step up that I think we can afford to leave Cizik for a year. But there is a guy that is going to have to go right now. His name is Frederik Andersen. Came over to Minnesota. Wasn't the best goalie for us. You know, he had better years in Detroit and Toronto for sure. He did play in the playoffs. He played 2 games, had 1 loss. He must have come in a few of those games, actually. He wasn't bad in those games. He didn't hurt us in the playoffs at all. It wasn't like a Ben Bishop situation where EA just kind of threw him into the game, because why the hell not? How much would he cost to bring back? Yeah, 1.5. That's not a bad contract, but you see Vasinoyev, you see Ulanov, you see Mackey. It's time for them to get a spot, and Vasinoyev is looking like the guy that's going to get the spot next year in the NHL, which I'm excited to see. So, Frederik Andersen, we are going to let you go. Congratulations on the Stanley Cup. I wish you a lot of success. Filatov, we're going to have to let go. So, it's time to do some math here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we offer Cody Tallender a contract this year, or do we leave him to play in the USA for 1 more year? Because if we look at our AHL roster next year, I want Rensfeldt to play. I want Mackey to play. I think I'm going to trade Ulanov just because he's getting older and his trade value is about the same as Vasinoyev. Vasinoyev looks to be the better goaltender as it is right now, so I want Mackey and Rensfeldt playing next year. You can leave Cody Tallender and Cizik playing in their respected minor leagues right now. So I don't even think we should sign them as it is. I mean, Pettersson, who we drafted last year. We have a lot of goaltenders. My gosh, we're really good at drafting goalies, so that's good. We're going to leave them both unsigned. It's fine. We'll sign Cody Tallender next year. Our goaltender situation will be shored up by next year. Probably Mackey gone as well. You never know. You never know. So we are going to head over to the UFAs. It's time to talk business. Now, let's look at the RFAs as well. We also have Cale Newmanen, who is the biggest fish that we have to sign, which is not going to be fun in the slightest. Our biggest UFA is Connor Dewar, who, how much is he going to... He's not even going to cost that much. So, I think... So we have Curry, who we're actually going to sign to a contract right now. I don't want to lose a medium elite heading into free agency. That sucks. So we're going to do a little bit of house cleaning here. We're going to let go of a few other guys just to clean up a little bit, because sometimes the AHL gets a little cluttered, and I'm going to offer a few of them contracts just to come back in the AHL, because they're usually a pretty good team year in, year out, so I want them to continue that pace. And with all these young guys coming in, it does leave a little bit of room in the AHL to grow. all these young guys like Waters, or maybe Gogo isn't good enough for the NHL this year. We'll know. Jason Zucker is another question that we'll have to talk about, but the AHL will have to keep a closer eye on them. So Jason Zucker does not want to come back. He won a second Stanley Cup, sort of. He didn't play enough games in the playoffs to technically earn a Stanley Cup, but he was there with us the majority of the season. He just got hurt. He was riddled with injuries towards the end. He came back, played one Stanley Cup playoff game. I think it was in the finals, if I'm not mistaken. He just gets hurt. He goes down. It happens, just like what happened to Evgeny Malkin a few seasons ago. I'm not upset. It do be like that sometimes. But Jason Zucker, he doesn't have a place on this roster. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. Too bad. So we have a few other guys here. Menel, hopefully these just give me a break, please. I know we just won a Stanley Cup, but just make this offseason a little bit easier for myself. Don't be like, our roster is too deep and I don't want to sign that contract. Just make my life just a little easier. It would be really, really nice if all these guys like, yeah, let's come back. Let's do it, guys. It'd be really, really nice, just especially after all the chaos that happened in the draft, for all these guys to come back. Now, there are two guys here that do not want to come back. Julien Gauthier, I don't blame him. If we can go out and get a guy like him in free agency who's better all around than him, I will. So we're going to let go of Julien Gauthier. Oliver Shillington now. How much does he want? He wants $2 million. I'm not going to fork up that money. That is just a fact at this point in time. I really, really like Shillington as a defenseman. He's put up really, really solid numbers in the offseason, or in the postseason and regular season. But $2.5 million for a third pairing defenseman who will have to argue around with because he doesn't want to come back to Minnesota. We would have to fight with him. He was a great defenseman. I really, really liked the guys he was paired up, Thomas Hickey and Maurice Potvin this past year. So Shillington, we're going to have to let you go. The other big guy here right now is Connor Dewar. He wants 1.5 for 2 years. He'd be a sick guy just to bring on for like forever. Like, just forever. So, hold on, I gotta go to centers. Connor Dewar. Who's this Matt dude? Oh, Mateos. We have Mateos for 2 more seasons. But I do like Connor Dewar. We could let him play because he's like a depth forward technically. I think he'll float around a depth forward to a potential third liner for us. I really, really like him. He was really, really good for us last season, putting up really, really solid numbers on the fourth line. 1.5 is a really, really damn good contract, especially Mateos. You get whoever you really want down there. You can even let go of Beckman if you really feel like it. We got a lot of options, a lot more options than I originally thought we were going to have to deal with. And since Kel Newman is the biggest fish, I'm going to deal with him first. He is the most important player we have to bring back. He's a young guy. He's coming off almost a 50-goal campaign, 2 straight Stanley Cups in his 3 NHL seasons. He hasn't placed anywhere else but the Stanley Cup Finals since he came into the league, which is very, very impressive. He's gone up every single season. I need him to continue going forward at that pace. I like him as an overall sniper. We're going to bring him back. But here's the next situation. I know I love bringing players in at 8 years, just all over the place, have them for as long as I possibly can at really good contracts. Now, $9 million over 4 years, that's a pretty nice contract, but it also brings him to a UFA status. Okay, 8 years, $11 million with the 0.85 trick. If you don't know what that is, you times the contract by 0.85, and that's the lowest option they take. But you also have to count in morale. Sometimes they won't take that contract, but if everything goes smoothly, he'll take the 0.85. But 11. Okay, I'm gonna time. Okay, let me think here. real quick. Why did I almost go to my alarm app? Never mind. So 11.150 times 0.85 equals 9.4 over 8 years. That's a really damn good contract. But I also have another option. I have another option that I can take. There are two options. We have the 8-year contract at 9.5. That's another hefty contract on this roster. There is also another one that brings him up to his last year of RFA status, where we would still have his rights. We could play around. If cap was a problem that year, we could play around with it. It wouldn't be much of a problem for us, especially with all the young talent we have. It would work out. The 8-year contract has its benefits. The 3-year also has its benefits, but the biggest downside of the 3 years is he'll probably ask for more than 11 at the end of it. Now, this is at this point in this episode, I wish it was live and I was talking to my viewers about it to just bounce ideas off of. So I'm going to go to 8.725 times 0.85 equals 7.4 for 3 years. Okay, and then we have to go into free agency and get 2 bottom pairing defensemen. So that's $4 million spent there. We don't really have a lot of money. We have to get Connor Dewar back. I like the 3 years. I really, really do. I might regret that at the end of the 3 years, but we will still have his rights. It's not like the 4 years where he'll jump into UFA status where we won't have his rights, and it'll be a problem. We'll have to move assets at the draft to make sure we get him. And I don't know who I'll move at that point in time, right? Because that's 3 years away. 8 years is simple. Though we have to bring on assets to make sure this team is nice and easy. Nice and flat. Not flat, but I want to make sure we fill out the positions of weakness. So we'll compromise. I think the 3 years makes sense. I hope he isn't stubborn and just signs the 7. We'll go 7.5. 7.5 over 3 years. I really like that deal. It has its downsides, but come on. Advanced day. Let's see. Advanced day. Here we go. Go signs his contract with Minnesota. Menel, also good. Hickett's, yep, good. Waters, okay. Fitzgerald, hell yeah. Pouliot. Pete Curry, yep, that's good. Cale Newmanen. Okay. Rejects the 3-year offer. Now, at this point in time, that kind of not offends me. I understand that he wants the money over 3 years. He's taking a hit by taking 3 years. So if we offer him the 8-year deal, potentially, the 8-year deal would be around $9 million. It would be like 9.5. So 9.5, leaving us $3 million to sign Connor Dewar, potentially Beckman, and 2 depth defensemen. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to go 3 years at... I will go at $8 million, and if he doesn't sign that, we're going to have to do the 8-year deal. So we're going to do that. Cale Newmanen. It's advance a day. Let's see if he signs that contract. Cale Newmanen, let's see. Rejects that contract. That's a little iffy. I don't appreciate it, Cale. I know you want your money. You're a goal scorer, bona fide goal scorer. But think about it. Okay, if we do sign him to the 8, we give him his money. We have Pete locked up. We have Francis, Kaprasov, Langweeder, Hughes. We'd have Newmanen. We'd have Hughes, Clark, Eminem, Potvin isn't actually signed up, but... Okay, let's... At this point, if we would have to go up to 8.5 or around 9 over 3 years, I'd rather just give him the extra $500,000, the extra like $1 million to get him for 8 years, right? You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. So 11.150 times 0.85 equals 9.475. So about 9.5. He needs to sign this deal. If he doesn't sign this deal, it's giving me a little bit of an ulcer. So sign the deal. Cale freaking Newman and you. Cale, why you gotta be like this, Cale? I've given you the moon and the stars. Before it's all over, Connor Dewar, we're gonna have 8-year deals. I love me some 8-year deals. 1.50 times 0.85 equals. I'll just give him 1.5. He's worth it for a fourth liner. Yeah, that's easy money. Pouliot, we're gonna let go of. We're going to we're going to qualify Beckman. And Cale Newman wants to dance. Okay. How about we give him 1 year? And we just talk about this next year. We'll have around the same money to work with. 1.5 for 1 year. Sign the deal, Cale. Connor Dewar signs a contract. See, that's easy. And Cale signs the 1 year deal. That's good. That is good news. Adam Beckman, how much is he going to ask for? 1.5. I'm just going to wait on him, see what we're working with. Is he a two-way forward? He's a two-way forward. You know what? Okay, so I got to pencil this in. So we have Kunin. We won't have to trade him, which is a huge sigh of relief. We have Mateos. We have Dewar. We got Dewar, which is huge. And Beckman, we could bring back at a decent price. We have $3 million. Oh, everything's so difficult here. Okay, defense. So this is the trickier part. So defense, we will go to main roster. So let's think. We have 1, 2, 3. See, then it drops off, right? Then we have Potvin. Potvin's nice, so that's 4. Addison, maybe. 5, 6. I'm going to wait for Beckman just to see if maybe we can get a really nice, really solid depth defenseman for us. Maybe even, I don't know. We also have that goalie that we can trade away for an awesome defenseman and play around with that if we need to. Yeah, I love that idea. Owen, you're a genius. I love you. So we have goalies. We got that settled. That is great to see. So let's actually go to coaching staff. I gotta check that out real quick. So our AHL assistant coach, we have to bring back assistant, right? Why do you want to be an associate, my dude? Come on, you want to be an assistant coach. Assistant. Do you know how important you are, Matej Stefan? 7.5 or 7,500. No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. We have that settled. We are approaching free agency. Maybe there's a few big guys out there. Usually there are when I don't have any money. So we have a few scouts, but I'll deal with that off screen if I remember. So we have 42 contracts. Here we go. Who is the biggest guy? Brock Besser is the guy right now. Ooh, man, there are a few guys out here in free agency. Okay. I can dig it. So we have... Ooh, we got subscriber-created player and Pierre LaRoche. Okay. He was drafted by St. Louis. Was he drafted? He was drafted by St. Louis. Thank God they still have his rights. Somebody's probably going to offer them a contract. You have Nick Suzuki, who I think is going to be a great NHL player. I love him. You have Nolan Patrick, who we talked about a bunch, who is a solid player in this franchise mode. You have Sammy Blaze. You got Jean-Gabriel Pageau, you have Brendan Gallagher, Thomas Tatar, Alex Turcotte. Now, that is an interesting name. Alex Turcotte. He is currently... He was one of the highly touted prospects this past draft. Now, we only have $3 million. We can't even offer a contract there. We got Dougie Hamilton, Philip Forsberg. Okay, goaltenders. Any big goaltenders out here in free agency? You have Ilya Samsonov, Connor Ingram, Mackenzie Blackwood. A few big names. You have Sora Takahashi, who is a creative player who I put in the draft. He is currently an RFA. Interesting. Nice goaltender prospect. Hopefully the Islanders get him back. Any awesome players out here for forwards and defense? Kratsov, Denisenko, Eklund, who actually grew in potential, if I'm not mistaken. I think he started at a medium top 6. Lavoie. Damn. Wow. William Eklund, that's a sick player right there. I'm surprised nobody's tried to pick, or I'm surprised nobody's offered them a contract already. You got Robertson, Thomas. There's a few awesome players here. You have Cott, who is a centerman. I am pretty iffy about players playing the position that they were meant to play in, or like, if I have, okay, Connor Dewar, Mateos, and blank, right? Who is that guy right there? Is it Quat? I'm not sure. So let's actually go to defense. I want to see who the biggest names out here. Dante Fabro, Dougie Hamilton, Jacob Trouba. Any cheap defenseman. Everybody's asking for a lot of money right now, and we don't have a lot of cap space to play around with. We really don't, but we have assets. Victor Mete, solid guy, underrated guy from Montreal. Actually, I really like him. Snudgaard, Alexiak, McDonough. Yeah, there's a few solid guys right there that I potentially might... Oh, we got Pierre-Olivier Joseph, who asking for league min. Is that a two-way contract? It's not, but I might take a shot at that. Maybe Santini. Gudis is a beauty. It's a freaking... Oh, I want Radko Gudis. I might even offer him a contract. Yeah, Radko Gudis is a beast in this game. So actually, let's go... I want to go to the trade block because we do have a few assets to talk about. Or if there's anything on the block that intrigues me, we will talk about it. We will see. As the defending Stanley Cup champions, we have to make the right moves, and we have to make the right moves right now. Okay, anything out here on the block. If there's a really, really cheap, awesome defenseman, maybe we'll take a shot at it. We have a defenseman in Bissonnette. Now, let's just talk here for a sec. Are they interested in a goalie or two? They're interested in Vasinoyev and Ulanov. Ulanov is a solid amount of that trade value. We also have rookie skaters. We have a Heckler. We also have a defenseman that I wouldn't be upset about giving up because we have Backer. We have a bunch of guys there. Maybe Smabby. Curry. There's a lot of guys there that we could potentially give up. I'd rather give up this defenseman right here. That might work. We also have a bunch of first-round picks that we could potentially deal away because currently we have Nashville's, Toronto's, Buffalo's, and our own next year. I'd rather give our own. That is a trade that could 100% work out for a young defenseman like Bissonnette, who I want to say is a two-way or a defensive defenseman. He's actually looking like an offensive defenseman. But then we have to think we also have Maurice Potvin, but who's going to fit where? Right? Potentially. I do like that option. I know this is a lot of talking this episode. I'm sorry. But it's an important part to just make sure we make the right moves and not make them quick in the offseason. We have to go over them in depth. Gabriel Landeskog is on the block. Joel Armia is at $2 million. Ooh. Damn. Joel Armia is at $2 million? That's a damn good player right there. Nobody from Columbus. Too bad they're not good in this franchise mode yet. Dallas, Detroit, no thank you. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Vincent Trocheck? Nah, Florida, no thank you. Alex Turcotte, Philip Deneau, and Dominic Kahn for LA. Nope. Anything here. The only thing that is intriguing me is that defenseman from Carolina. I think it was Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. You got Brett Howden. You have Bushnevich. Not bad guys right there. Philly. Pittsburgh. Nothing from Pennsylvania. Few guys from San Jose, but I'd rather not trade in division or in conference. At LaRoche. Lindholm. Lindholm could potentially be a solid guy for us. That's $5 million. We really don't have the cap to afford that. The only guy that I've seen so far that we could afford is that Bissonnette kid. That's the only guy that I potentially could see us acquiring easily without making or moving a roster player. William Karlsson, Sam Bennett, no thank you. Varane, who I think had a fantastic breakout season for the Capitals. Toffoli, nope, for Winnipeg. Okay, so I think a lot of you guys might be iffy about me making this trade, but we have always prided ourselves on pride. Is that the right? We've always. I don't know. I'm not great at English, even though. No, never mind. I think a lot of you guys may be like, okay, but you have Hughes, Clark, Eminem, and Potvin. Okay, but hear me out. I've gotten suggestions that Potvin might be a better two-way defender. We can play him on the penalty kill. He's going to get better. Bissonnette would be a great addition since we already missed out on a fantastic defensive prospect in the draft. At the top of the draft, we got Gogolev, but Bissonnette might be a fantastic guy to bring over. Chicago wants to trade him, right? Chicago? Wait, what? Wait, I thought it was... What? Excuse me? What? Wait, what was that? That was weird, okay. It said... You saw that, right? I'm not crazy. It said Bissonnette was on... Or am I crazy? Whatever. He might even play in the CHL for another year, but we're not moving NHL... We're not moving NHL talent, right? So I think this is a trade that I really, 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 really want to make. And look at our goaltending. Our goaltenders are the most... we have a plethora of goaltenders. We're bursting at the seams with goaltenders. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goaltenders with medium or with elite potential. 4 of them being high potential, right? So we have to make room eventually. Ulanov is the guy in my option, or in my eyes, that is going to go. He's the best option for us because I like Vasanoyev. I think he's going to be our backup this coming season. We also have... if we're being honest, what is Franzen? Franzen is a sniper. I'm honestly more inclined to but trade the sniper because we have a lot. Where is he going to fit at the end of the day in our top 6 or in our bottom 6 when he's talented enough to break the NHL? I think Franzen's the guy to go that way. No, I think that trade goes through. I think it's fair. Carolina wants to make that deal. They're a contender. They get a goalie that might even step up to be a backup this year. They get our first. We have a plethora of first-round draft picks, and they get a young forward prospect. I like that deal. Come on. Trade rejected. I knew that was coming. So let's take it easy. Carolina, I want to get this deal done. Let's be partners. You want Bowie. You want another defenseman. Take him. Trade accepted. I was going to go up to a second-round pick and add that, but I'm glad I went with the defenseman. Just the throwaway defenseman works for me. We get Bissonnette. Look at... you might be saying, oh, you just cheated the system. I'm going to take advantage of the computer if they want to trade away that guy. It's not like I just traded away a bunch of people to get a guy that they didn't want to trade away. I very much always stay to the trading block. The only guy I think I've gone out of my way to get out of the trading block is Jack Hughes. Some people disagree with that. But I think it worked out because 2 Stanley Cups in a row since we got Jack Hughes. That's all I'm saying. So I think that is awesome. So I think our defensemen are set. But we can always go out and get another. I know. Radko Gudas. Maybe. Okay, also let's look at right wingers real quick. I know, I'm being iffy this episode. I'm sorry, everybody. Any cheap... Oh my god, Evander Kane wants $8 million. You're hilarious. Okay, any cheap forwards out here? We got Ryan Hartman, who I really, really like, who might be a better fourth-line forward for us than Beckman. You got Patan, you got a few other guys here. Okay, let's... Yeah. Andrew Shaw. Andrew freaking Shaw. That's a guy that I want. That's a guy that I'm going to offer a contract to. 2-way contract. 2 years. I think he works for a fourth line, even if he's like a depth forward for us. I like that deal. Got Connor Lazar, Korshkov, a few guys here. Zach Aston Reese. Yeah, a few guys that are pretty awesome names out here. Okay, any cheap guys for the left wingers? We're pretty set on lefties. Jonas Donskoy, that's also a really solid player there in free agency. Lawson Krause, we have Sonny Milano, who is a Columbus Blue Jackets legend. I like that idea. We have a lot of players like him. We have Fitzgerald. We have a plethora of guys exactly like Sonny Milano, so I don't even see the point in that. Now, the next thing that we have to do is look at defensemen. Now, $3 million. It's not a lot of money, right? So we have to take into account that we have to deal with Cal Newman next year again. Maybe we make a decision about a defenseman like halfway through the season, and we go out and we make it work. But right now, we have to be considerate. So we got Joseph. I really like Radko. I do. He might even drop. But I'm willing to spend money on him. Because... Oh, my computer battery is running low. Thank you for reminding me, computer. I would cry. I would cry if this shut off. I'd be so upset. Okay. Plug, where you at? Oh, my God. My God. Here we go. Oh, this is so unprofessional. But we give him a contract. Good. My computer's all set up. So let's see if all these guys sign. So we have the forward and we have the defenseman. Not a lot of free agent acquisitions. Denis Gurianov and PK Subban of the Columbus Blue Jackets for Macklin and Korpikoski. Cool. Great trade for whatever team you think. Okay, so I think Andrew Shaw signs. That is huge for us. And Radko Gudas also signs. We're getting a lot of depth players. I know that was a lot to involve depth players and be like, oh yeah, spend a lot of time on that. Well, just like last year, we spent a lot of time shaping our bottom six, and we were the best team in the NHL for the 3rd straight year. Okay. Or 4th straight year. It might have been our 4th straight. 3rd straight? I'm not sure. We've won a lot, but I think it's for this one. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.